On June 23rd, terrorist attacks took place in two cities of Dagestan, Makhachkala and Derbent. Militants attacked Orthodox churches, burned down a synagogue, and started shooting in the streets. Russian security services have once again demonstrated their inability to protect citizens from terrorists. The Kremlin is focused on Russia's war against Ukraine, says the Wall Street Journal, and the security of Russians is not a priority for the regime.
The past year has seen a trend of rising violence across Russia, undermining Russian President Vladimir Putin's claims that only he can keep the country safe from threats, both internal and from abroad. From the Wall Street Journal publication.
When analyzing the events in Dagestan, we should take into account the specifics of the region, experts say. They link the high level of social tension in the republic to the intensified mobilization of men for the war against Ukraine. Like other regions where representatives of ethnic minorities live, Dagestan sent disproportionately more men to the front than, for example, the central regions of the Federation. Moreover, the standard of living there is much lower than in the neighboring regions.
If you look at Azerbaijan, which in the same conditions, the same sea, the same oil and gas, roughly speaking, with the same opportunities, it has a completely different standard of living. Another factor is Chechnya, which also has a very strong influence because it receives incomprehensible money, while it all bypasses Dagestan. And plus, a few people talk about this, but they appoint people who have nothing to do with this region at all.
As well as after the terrorist attack in Crocus City Hall, Moscow blames Ukraine and NATO for the unrest in Dagestan, while the media associated with Islamists in both the first and second case almost immediately reported that this was the work of members of ISIS-affiliated organizations. Moreover, among the militants liquidated in Dagestan were relatives of the head of the district, Magomed Amarov, a member of Putin's United Russia Party. The official himself was immediately detained, fired and expelled from the party. In this situation, it is difficult to accuse Kyiv and the West for organizing a terrorist attack.
The patriotic vibe was so strong that the population began to lose interest in confrontation with Ukraine, in aggression against Ukraine, and the population has begun to think about normalizing the situation. Now we can already see that this provocation has failed.
Experts believe that blaming Ukraine for everything will no longer be possible. Therefore, Russian propaganda will keep silent.
I think that nothing will happen. On the contrary, they will quickly try to silence it. And the population has a clip thinking. As long as they are shown something on TV, they remember it, and when they stop showing it on TV, people forget about it, with the exception of Dagestan. Of course, they will forget about it quite quickly.
And Kadyrov's loud threats will help us quickly forget another fiasco of the Russian security services. At the meeting with the heads of Chechenya's security agencies, he demanded not only that terrorists are eliminated, but also that their relatives are killed. The Kremlin did not suppress the calls for blood revenge. Commenting on Kadyrov's statement, Putin's spokesman Peskov said that fight against terrorism should be as tough as possible. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Andriy Dmitrenko, UATV News.